Hello, it is Thursday, February 17th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is time for a Thursday puzzle, possibly a tricky puzzle with a tricky theme. We'll have to see. I always look forward to Thursdays. I don't see any shaded cells or circled cells or anything of that sort, so who knows what this will entail. But today's edition of the Daily Solve is brought to you by Stephanie Fredericks, B.W. Diedrich, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster. So thank you so much to the three of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. If you'd like to join their ranks to help support this channel and get that Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug, as well as this recognition, you can find more information at patreon.com/dailysolve. And of course, if you contribute to the Patreon campaign at any of the tiers, you get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. I know I still need to do this month's New York Times bonus crossword, as well as the new acrostic. I do want to do the new acrostic, so I have a couple things queued up that I need to do this, I guess this weekend when I have some time. So thank you to everybody who has backed, and we'll be seeing those new videos soon. If you stay till the end of the video, you'll see some comments from yesterday's video. But first, let's solve today's. This is a Thursday crossword constructed by Aaron M. Rosenberg, who is another debut constructor, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So, don't have anything else to say. Let's get started. Okay. I'm speechless. And this is in brackets, which suggests to me that the answer will be something nonverbal. It will be a vocal sound, but not a sort of spoken word per se. So I wonder if it's something like gasp. Gasp. You could imagine that being in brackets to indicate the sound of a gasp. Yeah, and I think so, because audacity could be gall. You have the gall to use a non-verbal answer for the first clue of the crossword. It's berry tasty. This could be acai. This could be an acai berry. I mean, it is the official berry of the New York Times crossword, as far as I can tell. So I'm inclined to put it there and check the crosses to see. Yes, I think so. Northeast Corridor train, the Acela. This is an Amtrak service. Not high speed, as I pointed out before, but as a commenter pointed out, at least a nonstop service. And what about here? On Cloud 9. So if you're on Cloud 9, you're overjoyed. You're very pleased. What is this? I'm not sure. Oh, here's a theme. Here's a theme clue. At the party where the scientist was demonstrating her new shrink ray, zap, the punch ladle turned into a... I don't know. I don't think we've seen one of these. This is a style of theme that I've seen a number of times before. I don't think it's happened very often recently, which is that we get these little stories that the clues begin, and then we have to finish them in the answers. And I can see a few other examples here. When the appetizers were passed around, zap, the potato wedges turned into something. So we've got some kind of magical event occurring here, or I guess in this case, scientific event. Actually, this is probably at the party where the scientist was demonstrating her new shrink ray, zap, the punch ladle turned into a little dipper. I bet this is. So Little Dipper is a constellation, and so it's a common phrase, Little Dipper, and often that will be the case with these themes. We'll take a common phrase, but then we'll interpret it in a different way in order to fit the theme, and I think that's what's going on here. So it could be a theme around constellations, could be something else. Could be kitchen implements. I'm guessing it's constellations. So if we're on Cloud 9, we were sent. That really sent me. I think that's sort of a modern... I've only really seen that very much in the last few years. So I feel as though that's a slightly modern affectation. On Cloud 9, I've been sent. I'm on Cloud 9. But let me know if that's wrong. I may be wrong. Credit card status. Platinum? Like a platinum card? Is that what this is? Is that a status of card? Hawaii's Pineapple Isle is Lanai, the island of Lanai. I didn't actually know that nickname, I have to admit, but I'm aware of the island of Lanai, so I suspect that's the answer. If one isn't well, one ails. And I suppose this must be platinum. What about this? Analogy words. Yes, okay, I think it is. Because analogy words, you could make an analogy. You could say, um, a solver is to crosswords as a reader is to books or something like that. Okay, supposed creators of crop circles, for short. ETs, extraterrestrials, are the supposed creators of crop circles, and some believe. Domain of Athena. Wisdom, I would think. Athena was the Greek goddess of wisdom. And float. Float. So, maybe to waft on the air, to waft along on the air, to float along on the air. I was trying to think, is this maybe a less obvious meaning of float, like a float, physical float in a parade or an ice cream float or something? But no, I think it is a verb. Stage opening could be act one of a play, a dramatic production performed on the stage. A tizzy could be a bit of a flap. So we have a slightly, I don't know, a sort of slangy or kind of idiomatic crossword today, I think. We have gasp. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up. No. Yeah, I don't know. I think that wasn't necessarily anything. Anyway, a bit of weatherproofing. Could be a tarp, a tarpaulin. You could cover up a gap in insulation to help weatherproof it. 1934 novel made into a hit 1970s BBC PBS miniseries. This is I, Claudius, the novel. I can't remember who wrote I, Claudius. Is it Robert Graves, or am I just completely making that up? I could be utterly wrong. Sorry if so. Anyway, also, yes, a BBC miniseries starring Derek Jacobi as the titular Claudius. And people for whom a state is named. Well, I know how to pronounce this now, thanks to somebody in the comments. Last time I mispronounced it. It is not Ute, but Ute, which makes sense because the state of Utah is named after this people. And so it stands to reason it would be pronounced that way, Ute. Okay, bus excursions to see homes of celebrities. That must be Star Tours. Star Tours, also the name of a Star Wars themed ride at Disneyland. A devotee is an adorer, someone who adores somebody who's devoted to them. Blank Yifei, star of 2020's Mulan. No, I didn't see the remake of Mulan. And I don't know this, unfortunately. Let's hope we can get it with crosses. Something traded at a trading post. Furs. You sort of classically in Westerns and that sort of thing, people are always trading furs at trading posts. A ding-dong. I suppose this is a ding-dong referring to a person. A person's maybe a ding-dong. They're a bit of an ass. And an Italian car, informally, is an Alfa Romeo. So, well, Italian car is an Alfa Romeo, or at least that's one make of Italian car. So informally, it is an Alfa. And I thought this was going to be Lou, but I didn't know, so I didn't put it in. And it turns out it was. Lou Yifei, star of 2020's Mulan. So there we have it. West Blank furniture chain. West Elm. I don't know how well-known West Elm is. I think I became familiar with it maybe 5 years ago. But anyway, it's a furniture store in the United States anyway, West Elm. Longing to go to bed. Longing to go to bed, and there's a question mark. So this is some sort of pun or wordplay. What is this? Longing to go to bed. I don't quite see what the pun there is. I'm sorry. I mean, either longing or bed is being used in an alternative way, but I don't quite see it. More Grinch-like could be meaner. This is it's interesting. So that's lowercase g. So it's not using this as a proper noun, but I'm sure that derives from the Dr. Seuss story, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. So I guess this is considered to have been adopted into the English sort of corpus of words in the way that Scrooge sort of has Scrooge-like has been adopted from A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Also, by the way, if you've never seen the original television special, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, it is fantastic. It's incredibly good. And that song performed by Thurl Ravenscroft the titular song is just, no, I guess it's not the titular song. It's called "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," I think is the name of the song, but it's just one of the best animated song compositions that I have ever encountered. Anyway, when the appetizers were passed around, zap, the potato wedges turned into, small fries. Okay, so it's nothing to do with constellations, I don't think. It's just that we're taking these potentially all culinary things. So here is a punch ladle, so it's at the party. Oh, it's all the same party. Oh, I see. Okay, yes. So this is how often this kind of story-based pun could work. We're telling a single story that's threading throughout the grid. First, at the party where the scientist was demonstrating her new shrink ray, zap, the punch ladle turned into a Little Dipper. Then, when the appetizers were passed around, zap, the potato wedges turned into small fries. So that's what ties this together. It's that these things are all, these events are all occurring at the same party, and so we'll have to find the phrases that can describe literally what's going on. Anyway, family could be a clan. Bracelet item, a clasp maybe? Or a charm, maybe more likely. Yeah, I mean, you could have a clasp on a bracelet, but that's not really, you wouldn't really call that an item of the bracelet, whereas you could have a charm bracelet with a number of charms on it. Triangular sail. Oh, I feel as though I know this word and I can't bring it to mind. That's frustrating. Let's check the crosses. Exaggerate as a stage role. You could ham up that role, really over emote. King of the Egyptian gods would be Amun-Ra, I believe. And here we have blank fair, historical festival informally, a Ren fair, Renaissance fair, where people might embody Renaissance era characters and sing Renaissance music and that sort of thing, I suppose. Okay. Oh, so we have, all right, so we have two more theme clues here. What was this again? Triangular sail. What is this? Is it a Latine sail? Is that what this is? Am I misremembering that? What about this cross? Mum's mum. So here the mum with the U rather than mom with an O is indicating that we're using, it's being said how it would be said here in the UK rather than in the US. And so a mum's mum is a grandmother, or in Britain here would be your nan. So that's what that is. And so maybe this is Latine. Maybe I am remembering that correctly. I'm not sure. But let's look at this next theme clue. When the main course was ready, zap, the 6 foot hoagie turned into I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm not confident enough to put that in, so I'm not going to. Let's check some more crosses. ACC team informally. This is, I don't remember. This is some kind of athletic conference. I don't remember what this stands for. I don't remember the team either. Not that I would know. Most likely, I probably wouldn't, so I'm not sure. I'll have to skip it for now. A mongrel. Could be a cur. Both could be used metaphorically to refer to people, but literally would refer to canines, I would think. I mean, dogs or maybe related canines as well. I'm not sure. But you'd say a mongrel, a cur, a real, mean dog. Territory. Maybe it's not a cur. What about this? Here we have Sri Lanka. So let's put that in. And this is territory. Oh, it could be turf. Okay, so maybe that is cur. And then here we have, it's that ACC team informally. Maybe it's the Pats, the Patriots. I have no idea. It's a team that I've heard of, so maybe that means it fits. Let's check the crosses here. Leave in blank. You could leave in a huff. You could storm out. Maybe you storm out of this party in a huff because everything has become very small and you find that infuriating. Setting for the 1962 hit Monster Mash. Oh, well, it starts with the song Monster Mash starts with the song. I was working in the lab late one night. I saw an incredible video of the original singer of Monster Mash in his 90s, I think. I think he was genuinely in his 90s performing this song at what looked like a house party or something. It was an incredible video. It was from, relatively recently, historically speaking, because this man was so old. And someone, I think I read that Elvis had said this was the stupidest song he'd ever heard or something like that. And then this guy said, this guy replied at some point, well, he's not around anymore and I still am. And I just thought that was an incredible exchange. Anyway, it's worth watching that video of this guy in his extreme old age performing the song. It's quite good. Calculus calculation. Calculate limits in calculus, right? Is that lim? Is that an accepted abbreviation for limit? Let's see. What about this? Flag down. Yes, you could flag down a taxi. You could hail a taxi cab. And scratch or nick. Scratch or nick. Oh, a flaw. So not a verb in this case. Well, scratch or nick, those can each be verbs or nouns. You could scratch something or nick something, or doing that would create a scratch or a nick, or, each of which is a flaw. Oh, this looks like a submarine. So when the main course was ready, zap, the 6-foot hoagie turned into a, oops. I must have something wrong here. This doesn't look right. Does it? Some kind of submarine. Maybe, something must be wrong. Maybe cur is wrong, or Pats. Is there an alternate spelling of Amun-Ra that isn't the one I'm familiar with? What about this one? When the dessert was brought out, zap, the pudding cake turned into a... Oh, mini something maybe? No. That just makes all these other crosses look completely incorrect. Sorry, I'm really not getting this, am I? Let's, need some way to sort this out. Hostile state. So this could be a hostile state, meaning a country, a state, a nation state, or it could be a state in which you find somebody who is hostile. So a hostile state of being, I suppose you could say. That could be anomie, for instance. I don't know. I feel I need more crosses to be confident about that, because it's fairly important, because it's going to help with this theme clue. I'm very sorry if you're seeing what each of these are. I'm just not. When the main course was ready, zap, the 6-foot hoagie turned into a what? Some kind of tiny submarine? What is that? Animal submarine? I just don't... I'm very sorry. Oh, atomic submarine. This wasn't Pat's, and I should never, ever, ever guess sports clues. I just shouldn't. I shouldn't do it. It will ruin my day. All right. Atomic submarine. I see. So that's very clever. So this is playing on the notion of, obviously, a submarine that is powered with an atomic reactor. But in this case, it's suggesting a minuscule, an atom-sized submarine sandwich. Okay, so let's see. What was this? Right, this is an alternative spelling of Amun-Ra, Amonra. That's fair enough. And the ACC team informally. Maybe it's Pitt for Pittsburgh? I know I just said I shouldn't try and guess these, but now that I have 3 out of 4 crosses, it feels a little bit safer. So this could still be Kerr, presumably. And what was this one? When the dessert was brought out, zap, the pudding cake turned into a trifle of some kind. So trifle is a dessert, of course, but also indicates the trifle is something small or insignificant. Oh, a mere trifle. That's very clever. All right, so the triangular sail was indeed the lateen. That's nice to know. And we finally sorted this out, the atomic submarine and the mere trifle. Speaking of things more common in the UK, trifle is certainly more common here than in the US, I would say. Didn't really ever encounter that in the US. Didn't dive into, waded into. So the into in parentheses is indicating that it will be a closer match if we append the parenthetical, sort of suffix word here, not just to the clue, but also to the answer. So didn't dive could match with waded, but it's easier to see the match if we append into to both of them. So didn't dive into and waded into. That's what that parenthetical word is doing there. It's just sort of, it's helping us out a little bit. It's giving us a bit of an additional clue. Okay, what about this? Ramshackle. Could be seedy, a seedy bar, a ramshackle bar, sort of thing. Sweetheart in modern lingo could be bae. And, I see. Longing to go to bed. So here it's libido. So a longing for, I guess, sort of bedroom activity, I guess you could say. So it's not so much literally a longing to go to bed to sleep, but to go to bed with somebody is what this means. So libido. There we go. That explains what was going on with that question mark, the pun indicator. And Boris Johnson, e.g., well, Boris Johnson is a Tory, meaning a member of the Conservative Party, and the Prime Minister here in the UK. Squalid abodes, rat traps, maybe? Principal. Not sure in this case. Yeah, I'm not sure. I need some crosses for that. Mrs. Abroad. I wonder if this... So often when you see abroad, it will mean a word in a different language. And what would this one be? I'm wondering if it means Mrs. in the sense of women, so someone you would address as Miss. As a bit of misdirection away from the more obvious surface reading, which would be that you miss somebody who is abroad, who is abroad. But I'm not sure. So let's keep going. Before in verse ere, I think this came up yesterday actually. Poetic way to indicate before. Ere long, before long. Principle. I don't know. For some reason, I'm really struggling with this principle. It's so funny. I suppose rat traps could be something else. It could be rat something else. Maybe I'll delete it just in case. 52 down, kept informed in a way. Could be something ED, I don't know. It could be something like I am'd instant message or something. I don't know if that's at all on the right track. Yeah, I don't know. Old presidential nickname. In 3 letters, could be Abe for Abraham Lincoln or Ike for Dwight D. Eisenhower. But without any crosses, I don't know which is more likely or if it's a different one entirely. Oh, right. Hostile state. I don't know this either. Anyway, what about this theme clue? Finally, when the still hungry guests went back for more, zap, the additional helpings turned into... I don't know. I'm going to need crosses for that one as well. All right. To dazzle could be to awe somebody maybe, but we should check the crosses. Taobao, the so-called blank of China. I'm not sure there either, but the bottom of this grid is giving me a bit of a workout, isn't it? Prepare for cold weather. Wear a coat, maybe? I don't know. You've hardly aged a bit, usually. I'm going to guess, because this says usually, I'm guessing this is implying this is a bit of a lie or maybe a fib. I would think fib more than a lie. Lie implies something starker. Yeah, this probably isn't wear a coat. Let's try fib and see what happens. Here we have genetic material. Could be RNA or DNA. With that AF, I'm guessing it's RNA. And language that gave us aardvark. Oh, it looks like Afrikaans, doesn't it, actually, aardvark? It sort of looks like it would be. So Afrikaans from South Africa. Sort of Dutch-inflected language. And it might be a K here. I can't remember if Afrikaans is a C or a K here. It's a K, because old presidential nickname, it would indeed be Ike. The nickname of Dwight D. Eisenhower, one of whose campaign slogans was "I like Ike." And an Italian term of endearment would be caro, or cara, could be masculine or feminine. Citrus drinks, it is cara, because citrus drinks could be aids, as in lemonade or limeade. It's a bust. It's a bust. Is this referring to a bust, a statue, or a sculpture? No, it's not actually. It's the more straightforward meaning. It's a raid. a drug bust or a drug raid, for instance. 11 to an élève. So élève is French for student, and so that suggests we're also going to be translating 11 into French, which would be 11 for 11. And what do we have here? Mrs. Okay, so this might be lasses. I was wondering if it was going to be that, but was that abroad, really? Is that because it's Scottish? Lasses? Feels though it's sort of already plausible in American English. It doesn't necessarily need to be abroad, so maybe it's not lasses, but it fits so well. What about this? Prepare for cold weather. To winterize, right? You could winterize your home or, I don't know, vehicle maybe. I guess it must be. It must be lasses. That's sort of surprising to me. Principal. Is that not used in the United States? I just don't quite understand why it needs to be abroad. I guess it is because it has more of a, I don't know, sort of a Celtic vibe, I guess. Anyway, principal. Why do I not see what this is? I really don't, though. And this here. Oh, this looks like it starts with micro, which is certainly a prefix meaning small, so that's very likely. Finally, when the still hungry guests went back for more, zap, the additional helpings turned into micro. Oh, why do I not see this? I'm sorry if you're seeing it immediately, but I do see that this hostile state is enmity. So it is a state of being as opposed to a nation state or that sort of thing. And, Taobao, the so-called eBay of China. Okay. Wasn't familiar with that service, but now I know. Micro serve. I keep wanting to think servings, but that's not a phrase, nor does it fit in the cells allotted to us. So it's obviously not correct. Kept informed in a way. I mean, I do think it'll probably end with ED. Squalid abodes. So if this were rat traps, don't think it is. That doesn't look like anything here. Principal. What is this? Have I looked at this yet? Middlemarch author. Oh, George Eliot. Does that help? Oh, rat holes, maybe? Squalid abodes? Principal. Oh, okay. So your principal enemy, your arch enemy, for instance, that's what it means by arch. Oh, sorry, by principal in this case. Arch, I see. Yes. All right, that works. And now I see. So what is this? Kept informed in a way. So it does end in ED, and it's CC'd, as in carbon copied. CC'd on an email. Here we have it. All right. So, microseconds. I see. The additional helpings, or seconds, turned into microseconds. That's very clever. Home for many hippos, the Nile, perhaps, the Nile River, and a magician's bird. Not sure what that's getting at. Put one's foot down could be to step, I suppose, most straightforwardly. To trickle is to seep. Oh, a dove, of course. Right. A magician will often produce a dove out of thin air. And and here we have another one of these. We have another one of these parenthetical suffixes. So dig into, delve into. Dig and delve, you could consider them synonyms, but the into just makes it a little bit easier to identify. And there we have it. That is the Thursday puzzle. And so we had this fun, pun-riddled theme telling a story about a party attended by a scientist with a shrink ray. At the party where the scientist was demonstrating her new shrink ray, zap, the punch ladle turned into a little dipper. When the appetizers were passed around, zap, the potato wedges turned into small fries. When the main course was ready, zap, the 6-foot hoagie turned into an atomic submarine. When the dessert was brought out, zap, the pudding cake turned into a mere trifle. And finally, when the still hungry guests went back for more, zap, the additional helpings turned into microseconds. It seems a little bit, it seems a poor form of this scientist to continue demonstrating her shrink ray again and again and again, because it doesn't seem as though this happened all at the same time. This zap in each of these cases sort of indicates that it is successively occurring as opposed to a single unfortunate accident. So this is starting to seem intentional and contemptuous, perhaps, on the part of this scientist. Anyway, this fun Thursday theme. Not necessarily the most Thursday of Thursday themes. There wasn't a sort of grid geometry mechanic, if you see what I mean, that we had to uncover. But we did have quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4. We had 5 of these fairly involved puns. I mean, one of which spanned the full grid. So I would suspect. I wonder if any of these are debut answers. Maybe Mere Trifle. Maybe Atomic Submarine. I could imagine Atomic Submarine having been used before, but you never know. Anyway, and a fun crossword. I don't think too challenging for a Thursday, all things considered. But let me know how you fared. I don't think I did hit a point down here where I was stuck for a bit, didn't I? Trying to remember if that was for any particular reason. I don't really remember, but yeah, I do remember feeling when I got to the bottom of the grid that I was slowing down. But until that point, I think it was relatively smooth solving as far as the Thursday goes. Let me know if you had the same experience. And now, let's move on to some clues from yesterday's puzzle. So, what do we have? I thought we didn't have any, and then it turned out we had several. So Kathy Swope points out, regarding the term white collar, the term white collar refers to the white dress shirts of male office workers common through most of the 19th and 20th centuries in Western countries, as opposed to the blue overalls worn by many manual laborers, i.e. blue collar. Yes, that is of course true. I didn't point that out when I was talking about white collar, blue collar. I don't know why. I guess I don't know. Either I didn't think about it or I took it as self-evident, but yes, I should have mentioned that that's actually that's obviously what those phrases refer to. So thank you for pointing that out. Should have done so myself. Mark Owens observes correctly, I believe Cannery Row was written by John Steinbeck, not Upton Sinclair. Yes, that's true. I claimed erroneously yesterday that Upton Sinclair wrote The Jungle and Cannery Row, but yes, as Mark Owen points out, Cannery Row written by John Steinbeck. Marim Bagai 715 points out something that I guess as sports knowledge was a useful bit of context for me. A bloop hit or a blooper is a common baseball term for a weak hit, likely that should have been an out. And so that explains why blooper was weak hit in yesterday's crossword. I thought I didn't quite know what that was. I assumed it was just sort of a slang term for a tap or something, and maybe it also is, but this is probably the more relevant explanation. So thank you, Marimba Guy. Sorry. Sometimes when words are all lowercase combined into one word, you split them up incorrectly, as I did here. I read that as Marimba Guy, but it's Marimba Guy 715, so thank you for that. Retris has an interesting point. Studies have shown that sex most likely does not only not sell, but actually worsens the chance of your ad working. The thing is, people's attention goes from the product being sold, to the bare skins being shown, so they're less likely to remember what's being advertised. That is interesting, and I suppose stands to reason, actually. That's interesting. I'd be curious to see more research about that sort of thing. I mean, not even just that, but around advertising in general. I assume there are probably many counterintuitive I assume there are many common assumptions about advertising that are incorrect, I guess is what I'm saying. I mean, I guess if you look at the kind of standard of advertising on a lot of websites at this point, it seems clear that maybe the things that work are actually just utterly terrible. I don't know. Hard to tell. Rick Di Natale says, regarding 3 Down, Lima, Ohio, or I guess Lima, Ohio. Just last night, 2 of my friends showed me something they bought in, quote, the largest antique store in Ohio. I asked them where it is, and they said, Lima, Ohio, pronouncing Lima like the bean. Thinking back to a few days ago, Lima, Ohio, as large as its antique stores may be, is not a world capital in comparison to Lima, Peru. And that references the presence of Lima/Lima, I guess, in the crossword. So thank you for that little story. And that's all I have today for the comments. So thank you for sticking with this video until this point. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do subscribe to the channel. And if you think you know someone who might enjoy the series, then do pass it along to them as well, either person to person or through your wherever you reside online. I very much appreciate it. As I say often, but it is the case, it's the only direct recommendations and subscriptions and likes on the video. All those mechanisms are really the only way I have to spread the word about the channel. So thank you to everybody who has helped out in that regard. I appreciate it. And thank you to everybody who has backed the Patreon campaign for any amount of time. And I'll be back tomorrow with the Friday puzzle. We are finally leaving the themed segment of the week. So our first themeless puzzle tomorrow should be a bit trickier. And I hope you'll join me. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Thursday. Take care.